the skill tree with
Oh,
unnecessary
skill tree.
Yeah, games with unnecessary
Just
skill
like that,
trees
you've
for
lost me.
500. I don't think I had you in the first place, Kyle.
You didn't, but
Yeah.
now I'm just gone.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm your host for today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Kyle and Hunter. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Pretty good, dude. Pretty good.
It's good to be here with you today. Obviously, as we record, the clocks are going to go forward for me, so what feels like an hour will be 2, which is always fun. It's my least favourite episode of the year, where I lose an hour recording. You love to see it. But no, welcome back to the show, everybody, where every week we come to talk to you about everything that we love in the world of gaming while we wait for the inevitable news that drops as soon as the show airs. It's great fun.
I can't wait for the PlayStation Now overhaul.
It's going to be great. And you can look forward to it next week because we're always a week behind. But no, it's been an interesting week. It's a quiet week, which is...
That would be a fun segment to start doing, where we try and fortune tell what the news of the news that we're gonna miss is.
This week it's obvious because it's Spartacus,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one, but I don't know what it will be next. Like the week after, who knows? That's like mystery. That's like, ooh, who knows?
It changes with the wind.
It does. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But this week we've got plenty of stuff that we have somehow come up with. We're going to talk about Ghostwire Tokyo. Hunter's been playing it, so he's going to give you his first impressions. Is it underrated, overrated, whatever? Does it land on the review scale? We'll talk about it. I have returned to Returnal in my never-ending quest to not play Elden Ring. I decided to play the new Returnal DLC, and in doing so, I went back to the Returnal base game, got sidetracked, platinumed the entirety of it, and I still need to go back and finish the DLC, but I've got basically my entire impressions for that.
Like a fool, because there were 2 days that I had between Ghostwire and me finishing Horizon, where I could have installed that, and we could have also test-driven the co-op.
We could have,
but we didn't because I'm stupid.
It's all good. To be fair, to put this into perspective, guys, when I gave my Returnal review back in December on the show, I put 9 hours into the game. Now my updated review with the DLC included, I've now put 23 hours into the game, and I still have another hour to go. So it's a lot more. I've played a lot more of Returnal now. So I have plenty to talk about. We're going to give you a Fantasy Critic update because a lot of games have come out. So we thought we'd talk about that. And some of the picks that have been picked up along the way.
We got more eventful news in the first 2 months of this one than we did in like 6 of the first year.
It's true. It's true. And then we'll round it off by talking about video game soundtracks. Hunter came up with a very cool topic, which was definitely not a last-minute decision to pad the podcast, where we're going to talk about soundtracks.
I didn't come up with it. I stole it from a tweet.
Oh, even better. You love to see it. We love stealing on the HGO podcast.
That's how we got last week's episode. I stole it from a live stream discussion.
We love taking people's ideas and making them like 90% worse than when they originally showed up. It's great. You know, that's what we do best.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got plenty of stuff to talk about. There's plenty of things happening. So yeah, be sure
and
to stay
hopefully we'll hit
tuned.
an hour.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. And as always, if you want to skip to whichever section you'd like, you can always check the timestamps in both the audio and the video versions to the part that you want to listen about. We're going to start with Ghostwire because it's our main topic, quote unquote. It's the thing that is probably the podcast is probably titled about. So let's just dive straight into it. I did a bit of a spiel already, so let's just get straight into it. So Hunter, you've been playing Ghostwire Tokyo.
I sure have.
The final Bethesda game on a PlayStation console.
Yeah, I'm going to have to play The Evil Within 3 and Doom, whatever the third one of the new ones is called, on Xbox if I ever get to play them. This will be the final thing I get to play on the PlayStation.
It's so weird, right? It feels like... It's so weird because this game feels like it just kind of come out of nowhere. It's just like, hey, I'm here, goodbye.
Yeah.
And that's it, I'm done. And it feels like such a weird game to go out on. And obviously, they've mentioned before that games will still show up here and there on PlayStation. They've said, I'm sure if Bethesda does another online free-to-play or subscription-based game, that they'll probably bring it to everywhere. But it's like, in terms of true single-player Bethesda games from any of their studios, this feels like the last 1 coming to PlayStation, at least for now.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's made by Tango.
Yeah, Tango Gameworks, the studio that brought us The Evil Within 1 and 2.
Did they make anything else?
No, I think that was formed. Yeah, The Evil Within was the first project, and all they got to do so far was a sequel.
Interesting. And I know that, gosh, what is her name? She was initially involved.
I don't
in it.
remember
The artist from
her
Okami.
I don't remember her full name. Her last name's Nakamura.
Is it Hideki Nakamura? What is it?
No, Hideki is
what's
Hideki Kamiya.
That's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
He's the one who blocked you on Twitter, probably.
That's what I get.
Director of DMC1 and Resi 2.
I don't know. Let's have a look. Ikumi Nakamura. That's it.
Ah, all right.
But yeah, everyone, you'll remember her because it was that E3 where that one lady came out and was extremely excited and then showed a weird horror thing. It was so weird. Like she was just like she was super excited or like super like animated, and then there was this weird horror game that they showed, and it was a very big contrast, and it was really cool. But then she left the project like 4 months later, and she wasn't even really involved in it. So very weird story.
Yeah,
She's only got special
super
thanks in the credits. She's not even
in
the actual credit. So the game's probably had a drastic change since she was a part of it. So Hunter, how much time have you put into Ghostwire so far?
Like probably like 5 hours, a little bit more.
So you played like half the game.
Yeah. Like I played it for a little while when I got up, or shortly after I got up. My controller battery got low. I put it on the charger and took a nap and started playing it some more when I got up from said nap.
This game is going to be an interesting one to talk, guys, because he's already told us that story before. It's a great game when the nap is a very definitive part. I was
just letting the people know because it got a chuckle out of you guys in the first place. I figured it was worth letting the people know.
I know. Process, Ethan.
Yeah.
No, I just think that I think you just want people to know that your controller ran out of charge. Instead of plugging it in and carrying on, you were like, right, I'm asleep. See you in a bit.
Well, to be fair, I attempted to, but for whatever reason, the cord I have that's like long didn't feel like charging it, so I put it on the one that's plugged into the PlayStation. I wonder if it's because I haven't updated my controller.
Oh, you gotta update your controller.
That might be why. Now that I think about it,
because I've
been telling that thing notify me in 24 hours for like the past week.
Oh no, you should definitely do that. You should definitely update your controller, Hunter. Gosh, stop being lazy. But yeah, so for the people who are unaware, and to be fair, I think that this is most of us, because even I don't know that much about Ghostwire. What is Ghostwire? What kind of game is it?
It is an open world kind of action game. With it leans kind of into spooky things, but it's by no means a horror game like many people might think because of the studio behind it. And to be fair, that first trailer that they showed was kind of strange and creepy in a way, but it's by no means a horror game.
Which is an interesting take from Tango. And I mean, we've heard about it. They've been talking about how their next games are going away from being horror-centric in a way. I think they mentioned that the at least one game that they're working on is not even related to horror in the slightest. So it's an interesting way to go after their success, at least with The Evil Within 2.
Yeah. Like, I didn't pick it. I guess I don't know why I wouldn't have suspected, but for whatever reason, I looked at the box even, and I was like, oh, this game's T-rated. And I guess no one's been, like, mutilated or anything in the trailers either. It's all just been kind of tame by comparison.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't even know it was rated teen. It's also, was Deathloop also rated teen?
No, I'm pretty sure Deathloop had to be M.
Let me have a look.
There he goes, dude.
I think.
Sorry, I muted my mic, which made for terrible audio. Yeah, it is rated 18, so it must have been an But no, so that's interesting. I didn't even know it was rated a teen because, like I say, this game has flown so under the radar. Like, I feel like this has even gotten less notoriety than Triangle Strategy, and that was fucking Triangle Strategy.
I mean, to be fair, if you look at the things that I think that Octopath probably had a bit more of people looking at it than the Evil Within games did.
You see, I heard a lot about the Evil Within though. That's the thing, because I remember the
Oh,
first
really?
game. People didn't like the first game that much, at least not initially.
I wonder why.
A lot of the initial impressions for Evil Within were pretty negative, and then people really loved the second one.
It's really funny to me because I like the first game more, to be honest.
No, maybe am I misremembering? Who knows?
Probably not. I feel like the critical reception for 2 was better, and I just disagree because I think The Evil Within was better at being a horror game than 2 was.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, we're not here to talk about their prestigious past. We're here to talk about their whatever you want to call it present. So, like you said, it's less of a horror game. It's more of a kind of neon lit action game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's got a cool kind of visual style to it as far as like the powers you're doing look really cool. You blast little air blasts out of your fingers. That's visually very pleasing. What were you gonna?
I was just gonna say that everyone loves a finger gun, dude. Everyone loves that. One of my favorite things about Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a game that I will continue to not talk about on this show because I still think it was the most 7 out of 10 video game I've ever played in my life. And I don't know what people were thinking when they said it was one of the best games of last year. You tripping, guys.
Game of
Last
the
year
year
wasn't that
nominee.
bad. It wasn't that bad, guys. Come on. But one of the things that I did love about that game was when you're in nowhere, which is obviously like a safe haven, right? It's like a safe mission because it's just like the place that the Guardians hang out. If you press the shooting button as Star-Lord, he'll just start going pew pew with his hands.
Oh, that's amazing.
He'll just start talking to himself and just go pew pew.
Oh,
and it's like
that's great.
it's pretty great. I was like, and it was very Star-Lord, so I was like, that's cool. Still, game 7 out of 10, and it's way too long. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So obviously, that's like the one thing that this game I remember from the trailers is its visual art style, and also the way you have these kind of weird and kind of really cool looking, like visually looking powers, where you're essentially doing a load of hand gestures, load of movements, beating the shit out of a load of. Are they yokai? What are they?
So I don't think the game makes this weird distinction between yokai, which I guess are the ones that are kind of friendly, like the tangus you can grapple onto, and they've been calling the aggressive ones visitors, which a weird distinction because
knock knock.
it's just So that was their term, but they are pretty much just yokai as far as I understand it, like the umbrella slender men and the there's some children in raincoats. There's some headless students running around. There's this lady in a trench coat with like some scissors that like big scissors, not like just those that was harassing me. So the enemy design is neat.
Enemy design is neat. Just fucking primary school teachers fucking brought the arts and crafts supplies with her, dude. Like fucking.
Dude, she brought the hedge trimmers.
The big scissors, dude. The big scissors. They weren't cutting A4 paper. They were cutting A2, baby. Let's go, big scissors.
Yeah, it was like hedge trimmers mostly, like what Kyle just said. But it was a weird choice of weapon to pair that with because it was like a lady in a trench coat and a like hat.
I'm sure it's probably based off like a story or something. It's probably
like there's
like a Japanese
folklore kind of thing.
Folklore like bonfire story, yeah.
Because there's a lot of hints of that throughout the game. And I'm sure if the side quests motivated me to do them more, I'd get more of that. But I did like 5 side missions, and most of them were like, oh, this blue ethereal spirit that is non-distinct can't pass on because they're sad that they left their, I don't know, little shrine unattended.
Oh god, it's Kingdom Hearts 3. You just reminded me of the final world, Kyle, with all the fucking blue triangles everywhere.
Basically, like every little side quest comes from one of these blue spirits that can't pass on yet for whatever reason, and the task is relatively simple, but it's not very gratifying. So I've just taken to, after doing the 5 that I've done,
You see,
not
I didn't
doing
even
anymore.
realize this is the game we're talking about, right? With Deathloop, we had the same kind of problem where for a lot of its advertising, we didn't know what the fuck Deathloop was because we were like, is
Yeah.
it an open world? Is it like hunting down? Oh, it's 4 levels. This again is a game that I assumed was a linear video game. It's not.
Yeah, it's like a sandbox of like Tokyo around the Shibuya, district and all that.
That's crazy to me because it's like, again, if there's one thing, obviously, this game's sitting at a 76 right now on OpenCritic.
It's not doing my opinions of this game any favors that I literally beat Horizon 2 days before I started it.
Yeah. It's got a 76 on OpenCritic right now. The reviews are very lukewarm, to say the least, right? But I don't think, even for a lukewarm video game, right? It's like, we've seen the stinkers that Square Enix has been releasing recently. I feel like I knew more about Balan fucking Wonderworld before it came out than I knew about this, because at least that demo was that horrible that everybody talked about it. Ghostwire. Why is even Bethesda giving up on marketing this game? It feels like they were like, it's out in a month, and we still don't know what it is, and you'll find out on the day. Because it's like, there's so much stuff. Side quests, it being an open world, it being a lot more action orientated than people were thinking about. It screams to me like a game that Microsoft was just like, fuck it, it's got the PlayStation exclusivity. Let's dump it out and see it in a year on Game Pass. Like, it genuinely does feel like they just kind of let this one die.
I'm not really sure what else. Like, I know they didn't market it much, but there also doesn't seem to be much they really could do, in a sense, because really, if you're not interested in it already, I can't point to anything that I've come across so far that would convince somebody, yeah, you need to play this. For example, in the gameplay, all of the things you're doing with like your little magic hand flailing and all that, it visually looks very cool. It doesn't actually feel that great to do. Like, there's hardly any enemy feedback. Like, they kind of get pieces of them like blow off here and there, but like you get like 3 elemental powers pretty quickly. You got your little wind blasty finger gun, you've got like a fire grenade. He holds his hands like this and it shoots and explodes in a bigger radius, and then you've got like this water thing that's like a blade almost. And it doesn't feel like, aside from the fact that the other two cover more surface area, it doesn't really feel like I'm doing more damage to one thing or another with them.
Are there like certain enemies where those moves would be better than your just regular finger gun, or?
Sometimes they use their umbrellas as shields, and you can give the grenade blast or the like fire blast a piercing thing with your in the skill tree, which games with unnecessary
skill tree.
Yeah, games with unnecessary skill
like
trees for 500s. I don't think I had you in the first place, Kyle.
You didn't, but now I'm just gone.
Yeah. So like there's that. Even down to like just the way the character is. He doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like there's anyone behind the camera, so to speak. Like the sprint, like there's a sprint function, and yes, the amount of distance I travel is faster when I push it. It doesn't feel like there's anything actually physically interacting in the in-between of the distance. Like if I was viewing him like from a third person perspective, it doesn't feel like he'd have a run cycle. It feels like he would just slide faster. You know what I said? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like from what you've been saying, it feels like this game feels extremely shallow. It feels like there's not much
style over substance is how I would describe it. As far as like visually, it's cool, but the actual action doesn't feel great. There's still cool ideas, like the as far as yokai infested Tokyo is a cooler setting for an open world than, I don't know, Ubisoft's games. So there's that.
Oh, what, you don't like generic Far Cry map number 64, dude? What the fuck?
Yeah,
everyone
so
loves generic Ubisoft map number 68, my classic.
as far as that's concerned, like, yeah, I said that the side quests haven't been like actively getting me to engage with them, but as far as like moving around and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, the setting is still cool to be in. Not so cool that I'm gonna be in it for longer than I need to, but it's still cool. Some of the main story stuff has been hitting me with these sections that suddenly there will be like this barrier is what they're called, and essentially it's not actually a barrier as far as it blocks you. It's more like it's more like a cage. It traps you inside, and then like the world around you starts changing in a way. Like suddenly you'll be going from like this apartment, walking around in this apartment, to a like this hallway, a glass like bridge from like one of the tall towers or something. Those are really cool sections that I wish would happen more often, because I first of all, I'm a sucker for when like the average pedestrian world you're traversing gets all wacky. I like that a lot, and I think this was probably, like, as far as their experience with like the Evil Within and stuff, you have pretty good use of like being creepy without going like straight on throw the tidal wave of blood at you.
It's an interesting one, right? Because it's like, we'll get to the fantasy critic in a bit, but it's like, oh, like games that are just fine TM can still come out this year. Because I like, say what you want about this year, right? But I feel like we have had nothing but bangers from the year's start to up until this point. Like when you look at, if you look at strong starts to a year, it'd be hard to disagree that 2022 has had one of the greatest starts to a year that we've had in recent times, you know, just like listing some games to name a few: Horizon, Elden Ring, even fucking Kirby that's come out in the same week, right? Got an 85 and it's considered the best Kirby game for the Kirby lovers in the fucking audience. Pokemon Fire. Pokemon showed up. Good job. You know, King of Fighters, people seem to like that. For the two Kingdom Fighters fans, they seem to love that. Right, you know, and then indies, you got Sifu, you got Tunic, you've got, you know, we forgot about talking about Triangle Strategy. Gran Turismo 7 was great until they realized what shitty microtransactions it has. You know, there were so many, there were so many highly reviewed games, so many good games, and then for a game like this to come out and just be like, it's fine.
A 70.
It's
76.
It just feels. It feels like, to me anyway, the impression of it like is worse than it actually is. And what I mean by that is, it's okay for a game to be a 70. You know, it's okay.
Yeah.
But with a year that we've had and with the past 6 months we've had, it feels like a 70 is like PP, like garbage. It's like, it feels like it's
fade away.
Yeah. It just feels like it's gonna fade away. I don't know. Hunter, we've been talking about this game for a while right now, okay? What are you thinking? Let's wrap it up. What do you think overall? What are your initial thoughts? Because I feel like this is an interesting one.
I don't know. It feels, it's got cool ideas that aren't really held together by something of a lot of substance. Like, unless they do something like atrociously horrible in the next couple of hours that I'm playing the game, I'd still be willing to be like, okay, if you want to try this again someday and iron out your problems, I'll play a second one, give you another chance. But as far as like, if you're already interested in the game, then go and see for yourself, because I think that's the best way to get your opinions. But if you're not, then there's nothing here that I can direct you to be like, actually, this is really great.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it definitely feels like at least a wait for sale game. You know, it feels like, hey, if you a year down the line have an Xbox, try it on Game Pass if you want, or on PC. I'm sure it'll be on Game Pass PC as well at some point. Or hey, by that point, it'll probably be in the fucking bargain bin at like $20 on PS5 by that time next year as well. So it's
like in 2 or 3 months' time, during one of PlayStation's obnoxious sales, it'll be like heavily discounted. I remember
Deathloop. Deathloop was critically loved, and I feel like 3 weeks after it came out, it was half price, and I was sitting there going, God damn it. I paid full price for this. And it's, you know, it's just such, like I say, It's such a weird feeling where almost an average game can feel like a negative. It's a weird year, right? It's a weird year. Like, this isn't a Balan. This isn't a fucking... I don't know, what was that? There was a Square Enix game that came out. Babylon's Fall. I already forgot this name. I was like, it's not a Babylon's Fall.
Yeah. No, it's not either of those. Like I said, if you're interested in it, there's nothing here that's so bad that I have to be like, no, stay away.
It's just a very middling game from the sounds of it.
Yeah, even compare it to something like, I don't know, I was excited for 12 minutes and No More Heroes last year, and I think this is probably better than those.
It's a weird one, right? It's a weird one. But hey, there you go. Is it overrated? No. Is it underrated? No. It probably does deserve around a 76.
Yeah, just about.
So either way, the title's rated. Valid. It's rated.
Perfect.
It is completely
rated.
Tokyo rated.
Yes,
it is 76. Completely whelming.
Wow.
Very
whelming. Very cool. So hey, there you go. Have you guys been playing Ghostwire Tokyo? Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your impressions of how you're going in the comments. That'd be wonderful.
Or tell us all about how we're wrong.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
One or the other.
It's the internet.
Give us some kind of feedback, please.
Please.
Oh yeah, come and tell me I need to do more of those side quests. I dare you.
Life-changing side quests, dude. Life-changing. The other major release that's not Kirby, right? Let's clear the air. Let's clear the air. The reason
none of us are playing Kirby.
No one's playing Kirby because for some reason I think we like us as a friendship group are the only people on the planet that don't like Kirby apparently. So you're not getting a Kirby impressions because I thought the demo was very, as Hunter would put it, whelming. So I didn't buy the full game because I didn't want to spend fucking $60 on it. Kyle didn't want to either, and Sam hates Kirby, so we were screwed.
Sam hates Kirby?
Yeah, he fucking hates it. He says he's tried like 3 Kirby games and he hated all of them, so like, that's great. Good job.
Oh, man.
Well, hate's probably a strong word. He found them boring, I believe.
I was going to say, hate? This man played M&M Card.
But that's a
but that's so bad it's good.
That's a classic. You'll never get a game. They never make games like that again, Hunter. You don't get them like they used to.
You'll never get a solid 20 rated game anymore.
It's pretty cringe, to be honest, isn't it?
Honestly.
But no, so we're not talking about Kirby, and I'm sure you're all gutted, but from what I've seen, if you like Kirby, you'll like Kirby. Well done. There you go. What a review. Didn't need to pay $60 to give you that one. But the other release that came out this week that we have played is I returned to Returnal, as I've been putting it. Instead of playing Elden Ring, because fuck Elden Ring, I am returning to Returnal. And like I say, I've put like fucking 14, 15 hours into Returnal, which is more nice throw.
I just watched that whole process.
Same. I was too captivated by Hunter. Audio listeners, Hunter just threw his his cola bottle away across.
It was Pepsi.
I was watching him down the bottle.
It was like almost gone, but not gone enough. So I was like, I gotta finish it.
Fair enough. But
anyways, Returnal is the thing.
It is, and it's everyone knows if you. Again, Returnal, probably the most underrated game of last year. In that, how the fuck did that not get nominated? How I've been playing this, and even though I've been pissed off at how shitty the collectibles are in this video game, how did this game not get on the Game of the Year nominees last year?
How did Resident Evil 8 get nominated over it? Like, say what you will about Deathloop, fine, but Resident Evil 8 got nominated over it.
Honestly, it's an actual tragedy.
Did anyone even talk about Resident Evil 8 last year?
Yeah,
I made a review.
2 weeks. Yeah, for 2 weeks. YouTube.com/hotgamers only. Yeah, it's such a tragedy because it won the Game Awards it was nominated for. It won quite a few of them, so it's like it deserved to be up there. And man, I like I say, as I've been playing it, I'm like, man, this game is so damn good. Like the gameplay loop of Returnal is so good. And I didn't really get it as much as everybody else because I'm so good of a gamer. I just beat it too quickly, ladies and gentlemen. That's
you
the
were
reason.
too good at the game.
I got too good. I got really lucky with my RNG and I took my time. So for those of you who are unaware, I basically beat the game in 3 loops. So I died. Sorry, no, 4 loops. I died once in area 1, then I beat areas 1 through 3 for the first try after that, and then I died in area 4 once, and I died in area 5 once, and then I beat the game again. So I didn't have much returning in Returnal. And now that I've played the new DLC, the Tower of Sisyphus, I had to pause for a second. I was like, is it Sisyphus? I think it is. It is Sisyphus.
Yes.
The Ascension update. I should have just called it the Ascension update. After playing this and doing a lot more returns and then playing the DLC, I went back and got ending C. So I already saw it on YouTube, but I went and did the arbitrary task of Kyle, you'll love this, right? What you do is you have to do all 5 house sequences, right? You have to go into the house 5 times. After you've done that, you then have to go into each of the 6 biomes and find each of the 6 arbitrary fragments of a Sun Piece style thing. And they're all... It's random if that room will actually show up and you can collect them. You collect all of those. Then you go back into the house. The astronaut gives you a set of car keys.
Why did the astronaut give me car keys?
That was my reaction. That was my genuine reaction. I was like, was he expecting me to drive my Prius off the fucking alien planet, dude? What is this? You're trying to escape your fucking time loop? Just drive your fucking Mercedes Benz out of here, you prick. Like, what is this?
I've got a DeLorean parked out back.
It's basically what the game's like. So I got the final ending, which definitely was an ending. Returnal's story is very interesting, to say the least. It's not for everybody. I like parts of it. I like what they're trying to do. I just don't really like the execution in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the ideas are interesting enough, but the way it comes off is a bit... I could have done with a different delivery.
Yeah, the delivery is the problem, really. Like, the idea of it, and then when you come to the realization of what the loop actually is, you're like, oh, I get it, right? It's like this...
Thematically, it's great. Like, the first 3 are this triumphant ascension, and then once you understand once you get hit with the twist in the middle, you're going down.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, it's also it's got a very weird structure to it, but it's very cool. I like it quite a bit. And I've now platinumed it, so I can say that the collectibles are absolute horseshit. And oh my god, Housemark, what the fuck were you thinking? Oh yes, let's have like 100 collectibles, but let's have them randomly generate in the random rooms, and we'll see what the fuck happens. And I'm like, I was screaming to Hunter. It took me like 10 hours to get all these collectibles. I was screaming to Hunter saying this is the patched version. There are people that have 80 hours on Returnal. On PSN profiles, it's a 60-hour platinum, and it's all because of the collectibles. It only took me 23, thank God, but it's like, holy.
The random smatterings of things I've been getting from Ethan while he's been doing this all week have been quite amusing.
Yeah. But anyway, the reason that this is related to the DLC is because you have to get that final ending to get the final ending of the DLC, which I did not realize till I beat the DLC and realized I needed that requirement, and off I fucking trudged back into the main game. Like, God fucking damn it!
It was hilarious because he was like, I have to do this. That's the only way to do it, and he was all like, "Grr." And I was like, well, the only solution is to do it, and he told me to screw off, and then he went and did it.
literally what happened was Hunter was like, you've got to do it, I guess, and I said, fuck you, I'm not doing it. And then literally 6 hours later he joined the call that me and Sam were in, and he was like, how's it going? I'm like, hey Hunter, I've done all the house sections, I'm searching for the bullshit fragments. And he just started laughing because he's like, of course he caved in like 30 minutes, because that's what Ethan does, is he fucking screams to the world going, I'm not doing this, you can't make me. And in 30 minutes he's like, actually I'm quite bored, so I'm just gonna do it anyway.
Like, well, it's this or play Elden Ring.
It's that or play Elden Ring. And
that's what I said after he told me to shut up.
My hatred for Elden Ring is that strong. It's a funny. It's so funny because I've not even played Elden Ring, so I don't even know if I like it or not. But oh well. But no. So the main section of this new update, obviously, there's co-op. So if you were struggling with base Returnal, then congratulations. Now you can play it with a friend, which I'm not looking forward to because I now have a feeling that a group of friends that I know that I have that aren't particularly great, and we're like, oh, I don't feel like playing it because I might be too difficult. We might be like, hey, it has co-op, carry me through Returnal. I'm like, oh, fuck, not again. I'm not finding all the fragments with you.
Hey, there's nothing
you can do this
letting
part
friends
yourself.
carry you through a game.
Oh, it is, but it's like I've played Returnal so much over the past week that I'm like done with Returnal after I finished the DLC properly. But the Tower of Sisyphus is basically this whole new expansion. It's in the first area. Celine wakes up and she's like, yo, that's a big tower next to me. Has that always been there? And so you go into it. And it's basically this endless horde mode. So what it essentially is it's this mode where you climb the tower. So similar to the Ascension of the first half of the game, it's basically each phase of the tower is 20 floors. And it's like a Hades version, like a really fast version of the main game loop, where you just level up really quickly and you keep climbing the tower and you beat bosses. There's a new boss that has 3 phases, and you have to beat it 3 times. So at the end of the first phase, you have to fight the boss. It's only got 1 health bar. Second phase, it's got 2 health bars. It's a harder boss. Third, that's considered it. And then after the third, it goes on forever and it just keeps increasing in difficulty. You can go for high scores, your multipliers, and all that good stuff. So it gives you that replayability if you're a Returnal fan and you wanted something so you can brag on the leaderboards. Well done. This is your mode for you. But what I really love about this update is it just shows how good of a core gameplay loop Returnal has, because it feels so different, yet it's all with the exact same play pieces. Like, they have not done anything new here. They have just taken the pieces that they've made already, the same enemies, the same art, the same everything, the same gameplay loop, and they've made something that is just really fast-paced and really satisfying to do. And it's, like I say, it's so much fun because it's just this massive power curve where you just keep building yourself up, whereas the base game of Returnal, there's not really much of a power curve, like, because, for example,
you either put yourself into position to be really strong in the first portion of the time you're playing and then go and mollywop the rest of it.
Yeah, it's mainly health. You're mainly building up your health and strength pool, because when you jump into the final area, there's a collectible at the start of the final area that just boosts your weapon proficiency up to level 24, and you only need level 24 to beat the final boss anyway. Like, for example, on my final playthrough with the car keys, I just ran through areas 4 and 6 and didn't kill a fucking person, and I beat the final boss with the pistol on level 24 proficiency.
Nice.
With the base health, because the final boss actually isn't that hard in Returnal. It's actually pretty... No. The final boss is probably the easiest boss in Returnal, to be fair.
Considering where I was when I was, like, fighting it, yes, it was the easiest one.
I just think it is, because it's just basically shoot the spots on the monster. It's pretty simple, whereas the others are very flashy and massive, especially the third boss is really difficult.
Oh, the third one was the trip.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I like the fourth one, too, with its fun
The fourth one's also really good.
Yeah.
But no, so it's like this one, whereas it's just building your health, the game just chucks all the health stuff at you, and it's more of that power trip of your weapon proficiency is going from 1 to 45, and you're just climbing and climbing. Is it 40 or 35? It's one of them. As you're climbing up and you're grabbing weapons and you're constantly shifting, and it is more of that edge to edge gameplay of, oh, this is a close call, and it's really fun, and it's surprisingly, I feel like if you play base game Returnal, you're not going to have much challenge with it, but there is still some challenge to be had. It took me 4 or 5 attempts to beat it fully, which is funny because my first attempt, I died in the second to last room before the final boss, and that was the closest I got until my 5th attempt. So it's one of those kind of things. So it just builds on this kind of gameplay loop. It's really fun, and then on top of that, if you're into the creepy kind of horror-ish gameplay loops that are the first-person sections, Returnal's brought that back with the new scene, which is the hospital. And
there's a hospital.
Really fucking creepy because
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's really fucking creepy because obviously abandoned hospitals that are pretty dark, quite terrifying. And it's not
That's
huge.
a horror game favorite.
It is.
It is. It's not huge. There's not like massive amounts, but there's quite a bit of stuff there, and there's a couple of creepy moments. It did make me fucking jump once or twice. But overall, it's just more Returnal, and it just proves how solid it is. And I don't know if they're going to I don't know if this is the first of many things, or if this is the only expansion they're going to do for this game, but it's a really solid little chunk of DLC. Like, it's a really solid, like, 5-hour update, not including the co-op. Yeah. And it's like, to give that out for free, you know, is a pretty damn good deal, especially as we're talking about on the other side. Sony's charging you like $6 million for a car in Gran Turismo. So it's like, it feels like it's kind of the yin and yang of that.
My brother did the math on that because he ended up picking up Gran Turismo when it launched. He was like, I believe the highest thing that you can buy, like as far as the car is, like, I don't know. I believe with the like real life microtransactions, you would need to buy or spend like $200 worth of the most expensive credit drop to be able to like purchase it.
That's crazy.
For one car.
Buy an actual
As I like
car,
every car. Yeah. Yeah, buy like an actual car.
That's crazy. But no, the Returnal update is really damn solid, to the point where I'd recommend that if you have Returnal and you really liked Returnal, this is definitely a DLC that is worth reinstalling Returnal to play for 5 hours. It genuinely is really
fun. I've got
fun.
3 months to do it.
Yeah. It genuinely surprised me, because again, I started it as a piss about fuck you Elden Ring, and it got me that much into Returnal that I went back and platinumed the game, and now I'm gonna finish 100% the DLC as well. Also, I forgot about the special weapons. They're called like Demi. What are they called? They're called like Demi. Or what the hell are they called? I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to screw it up. It's got Gorga in it. It's got Gorga in it.
Gorgon?
Yeah. Well, Gorger.
Gorger. Okay.
Yeah, Gorger. But let me just look it up. Let me go. This is the quickest way for me to look it up is to go to my trophies. Don't shame me. Come on, PSN profiles, load. Right, it is called a Disc Gorger. That's what it's called.
Disc Gorger.
Yeah.
All right.
And it goes in the L1 slot, and it's basically like a fucking OP weapon that you just shoots for like 10 seconds, and it's like, they're like Ratchet and Clank weapons, where it's like a massive laser beam or massive explosions, or like a shotgun that just shoots shells in a circle, and it's like,
oh, nice.
Like really quick.
So it's like having the perk that spawns like the laser turret?
Yeah, basically. It's like those, but it's basically a quick weapon where you can clear a floor really quickly with it. And that's what they're in the chest with is it the Atropian keys, whatever they were called?
Yeah, Atropian
keys. So that's what you spend those on. And it's like, there's also enemies where you shoot them and they create a portal, and you jump into the portal, and there's like a little mini challenge that you can do to grab another one of the Atropian. There's a load of little intricate stuff that isn't in the base game that you're like, oh, that's a nice quality of life feature. And I really like those kinds of things. So yeah, it's well worth playing, especially if you already own Returnal, because Returnal already was a massive game that people got a lot of time out of. And hey, now you've got another reason to go and spend another 5 to 15 hours on it, depending on how much you like it. I don't know how replayable it is, because I'm not a replayable kind of person. I get bored with games very quickly after I've beaten them. But I'm sure if you're a high score junkie, I'm sure there's plenty to like here. Good luck going to the high scores though, because some people have been fucking crazy already. They're like on phase 20 or something. I'm like, how are you doing this?
Oh man,
calm down, kids. You can't suspend it. You have to go into rest mode, so you can't just close the game.
Right. You were talking about that before. I'm like, why wouldn't you bring that? Why would you do that again?
That's my one complaint. If you let us use rest mode, why not let us suspend? Fucking hell. Come on. You literally added the feature and then you blocked it out for this. Come on, game. Oh well, you can't win every time. But no. Returnal, thumbs up. Oh, right then. What's next on the agenda?
I believe it was the Fantasy Critic.
Yeah, it's Fantasy Critic time. Kyle, have you got the website up?
I do.
Because you've been quiet. You've been here. You've listened to us talk about our rants about our video games. So we'll let you give us the update. We'll let you roll with it to give you a reason for being here. Because because we appreciate you, so we'll give you a vital part of the podcast.
Thank you, Ethan. I'm so glad to be a part of this crew. I love.
We love it too. And there's that one game where
you're the emotional core.
3 months. Yeah, you're the glue that binds us together. Otherwise, it's just me and Hunter spewing fucking video game opinions.
I can't wait till our Horizon spoiler cast.
We'll let Kyle have that off. Yeah, we'll bring him in just to fucking sleep.
What? Bring in the one guy that doesn't like Horizon in the universe?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, come on, man. There's a spear skill tree in this one.
Yeah.
And there's that word again, Hunter skill tree.
Yeah, it's true.
That's 2
skill
words.
Trees, right, let's give the update
Attention span off.
Let's update then. I've not got any graphics, so you're as good as an audio listener. So give us all the details.
All right. I also just go in order by the draft order.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off, we got Pretty Swell Publishing with Hunter's team. Being hard carried by Elden Ring. 95 on Open Critic.
Can we talk about how bullshit this is, dude? This is why I refuse to play Elden Ring, because I don't fucking get this. I genuinely don't fucking get. Like, I love Bloodborne. Don't get me wrong, but in my eyes, Bloodborne but open world is like that to me screams worse Bloodborne. Dude. Like,
what did Bloodborne get? Like a 91?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's around what I was expecting Elden Ring to get, like a 93.
Yeah, I was expecting shocked. A 91, not a 95.
It was like a 97 at the start of this, and I was like, "Ooh, jeez."
I'm just thinking this bet, like I say, this game better fucking knock my socks off.
I'll get back to it eventually, but the amount of time that I put into it already, like, I don't foresee myself liking it more than Bloodborne. I guess unless I find areas that are like a really good sweet spot of stuff I enjoy. But, yeah.
As someone who just experienced the game secondhand, watching Sam play it last night, Ethan, it took all my energy to not tell Sam this game looked boring as shit.
That's the, I don't know. To me, it's just like, to some people see exploration, I just see filler until the content. And it's like, this is coming from the Horizon Forbidden West shill over here. It's like, the reason that I like Forbidden West is because there's shit for me to do, right? Or Breath of the Wild, there's shrines all over the fucking place. Whereas it's like Elden Ring, it's like, to me anyway, it's just, there's 130 bosses, but it feels like 50 of them are copy paste.
Jesus.
Yeah, because like 50 of them have been.
130?
There's literally hundreds of bosses, but it's because each one shows up like
80 something.
I'm sure some of them were hidden behind those walls that you gotta hit like 500 times.
Yeah.
God.
But like
game design.
How many bosses
I do like its approach to
120
not
bosses in Elden Ring.
Jesus.
There you go.
Why?
I do like that it doesn't shotgun a whole bunch of symbols and stuff on your map. I do like that you can kind of just go where you want to, but also I don't feel like I experienced anything life-changing.
I also feel like people keep talking about Elden Ring as a franchise, right? And I'm like, what do you do from here? And I'm saying this as someone that even if Elden Ring is, I play it and it turns out it becomes my favorite game of all time, I'll be like, fair enough, right? Where do you go from here? Because to me, now, I'm like, well, if you do it again, people are just going to be like, oh, it's just more.
I don't think that Dark Souls fans care about that.
No, I'm saying, no, right. I'm saying, yeah, Dark Souls fans don't care. Dark Souls fans will eat anything that From Software makes up. But what I'm saying is you've cracked the normie sphere with this game.
Right, you did.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do next? Because the normies are just going to go, this is the same fucking game I played last time. Dark Souls fans will be like, yes, more content. Other than changing the theme and then doing, okay, this time we're doing the Sekiro style but open world. This time we're doing the Bloodborne style open world instead of like Dark Souls. It's like, then you're just going to get repetitive. And I'm like, where are we going from here?
It's still just FromSoft open world.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal preference would be they'd go back to linear. personally.
Yeah.
Not because I
Yeah.
don't like open world, but I feel like once you've done this once, I don't know how much there is to do again. It's one of those weird ones. It's one of those weird ones where I just feel like, whereas Breath of the Wild to me was like, oh, this is a new like age where you could roll with this shit for a while and innovate and stuff like that. This I'm like, Dark Souls, they'd already mastered Dark Souls. They'd already mastered their formula, and now they've mastered that formula in an open world. What is there to do next? Because it's like they'd already mastered their gameplay, and now they mastered that open world. Well done. What's next? Whereas Breath of the Wild was new gameplay and them experimenting with new open world shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just an interesting one to me. It's going to be very interesting to see where it is. Anyway, it doesn't deserve a 95 ratio. Hate it. Fucking deserves a 2.
Deserves a 2. Jeez. If you thought that, you should have counterpicked it.
Yeah, I'd love to have counterpicked it and lost 31 points. Anyway.
Dude, that's like all your points.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've not had many releases, so far.
Next game that came out was Sifu. Got an 80.
That's
Hunter
fair.
has a review coming out for that, so I believe you do, right?
Sorry, guys. I couldn't hear you for the past, 30 seconds.
Oh, nice.
Good
Hunter's
co-host.
dying. Perfect.
No, it's good now, but what was the last thing
Sifu,
that
you
was
got a
said?
review coming out for Sifu, correct?
I
at
have
some
a
point?
script written, yes.
Oh, the
Hell
script's
yeah.
written. That means it's coming out before Horizon, because I still haven't written the Horizon review. So look
Oh,
forward
hi.
to Sifu coming out
Hell
after Pokemon.
You can get more thoughts on that when that comes out.
It was
I
good.
don't-
You should
think
check it
sits
out if you
around-
want.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think it sits around the correct area. That's the right scoring.
Yeah, that
Um,
feels natural.
Next.
Nobody Saves the
World. 80.
I did dabble a tiny bit with
Probably.
Nobody. I didn't last very long because it wasn't my kind of game. But from what I've seen, that seems fair. That seems like a fair score. Again, 80.
Tunic. 85.
Too bad we can't have Kane on here to tell us about why that's good or bad.
Yeah, we were talking to Kane earlier, and Kane was like, I can come on and talk about Tunic and give them my first impressions. And he's like, well, I'm out of here, bye. And then I was like, okay.
Wow.
I was like, you didn't even give us your impressions. And then obviously Ghostwire.
Ghostwire rounding out the list of Hunter's releases.
With 76.
Rewind
Which
the video to
is-
hear his thoughts.
Rewind the video, go back.
Completely fair.
Total of 73 points.
Yeah.
Kyle, you've got a pretty decent
Over
list.
on my bracket, I've had some nice releases. Leading off with Horizon Forbidden West. Got an 89.
The fact this doesn't have a
19
90 is
points.
so fucking tragic.
It's right there, dude.
I don't understand how this game doesn't have a 90. I literally don't fucking understand it. Like,
Yeah, I don't get it
right,
either.
Points.
It's
I
a better
literally-
game than the other one, and the other one had the same score, so it should be like
it's literally
couple points higher.
literally a better game. It's literally the best. It's one of, if not the best, Sony exclusive that has come out, and I'm like, it's suffered from fucking Horizon syndrome, which is let's release a week before a fucking really big game comes out, guys. Hype. And it's like,
yeah.
you've done it again, and people keep joking about they can't wait for when Horizon 3 comes out so that fucking whatever game comes out the week after is an absolute banger. But it's like, it's true. It's gonna happen again. But no. You can look again, my review will come out for that game in due time.
We'll have a
but
spoiler cast at some point.
some point soon, hopefully we'll record that this week.
Yeah.
So we don't forget the game. But yeah.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land came out this past week, 85.
Fucking Kirby
Rewind the
fans are
video to hear
tripping.
Ethan's thoughts on
Kirby
it.
fans are tripping. What the fuck is that?
Pokemon Legends
Jesus.
Arceus came out, got an 83. I have a review coming out for that. Look forward to that whenever that gets done.
Hopefully this
Game's
week.
good.
Hopefully this
Game's
week.
good. I enjoyed the game. But
Yeah.
if you're not a Pokemon fan, it probably didn't do anything for you. King of Fighters 15, 81, didn't play it.
Didn't
Looked
hear
fun,
anything
though.
really. I heard a couple of people go,
Yeah, the
it's
game kind
alright.
of just came out. It hit its audience, I'm sure, but that audience isn't us. Same with Windjammers.
I'm sure Gary
Windjammers
was
too.
thrilled about Windjammers too.
Windjammers was alright for the little bit I was playing around with
Oh
it.
yeah, you played that.
I did.
Forgot you even fucking played it.
Yeah, it was a weird little, Pong with some style to it.
Oh dear. Right. Anyway.
Yeah, that's all of my releases. DNF Duel got a release date announced June 28th. And
Yeah, nice.
Forspoken got pushed back to October. So
Hunter,
that's
did you?
epic.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many games did we pick in the original draft? Was it 8 or 10?
I think it was 10.
It was 10.
Yeah, it was 10 because all I picked up
You
so
picked
far was
Tunic in your.
Ghostwire.
You picked up
I
Tunic
did,
in your
yeah.
original 10? Damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you picked up Ghostwire and Advance Wars. We should say that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hunter.
those were the
And
two.
Kyle,
Yeah,
you
it's true.
picked up.
I picked up Xenoblade 3
Fucking.
before it was announced.
Before he was announced, yeah. But well, no, it was announced because Imran Khan announced it last June.
Before it was officially announced.
Yeah, Imran Khan leaked it last June after Gemma Coleman leaked it last April. So it's like, yeah. So that's that. And then quickly
Hogwarts
mine,
Legacy's
I guess.
got a holiday 2022.
Yeah, that's a game. Next.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we still go. Am I taking this or?
I mean, it's up to you. You did all the others. I'll let you do this one.
All right, Ethan. He's not had a lot of games come out, and
Yeah,
he's
but
had
they've
our
all
first
been
game get pushed to next year.
Hell yeah,
So-
boys. Suicide Squad killed the fucking 2023, am I right? Let's go.
I made a tweet about that, and Hunter fucking destroyed Ethan.
I meant to have an emoticon at the end of it.
I don't remember what you fucking said. I just think it's funny because I don't think people realized that I was like I don't think people realized that I was joking. Like the responses were jokes. Like people I think people genuinely think that I'm like heated or something. Like
Yeah.
Like I think people saw me say good didn't want it anyway as if I'm like really pissed, where it was like it was clearly a joke. It was clearly a joke.
Yeah,
Absolute bollocks rigged by dumb Kirby and Julia's cringe ratio take the L. Like, yeah.
Dude, your hatred of Kirby is giving me life.
Open Critic responded to
I
this.
needed. Yeah, they did.
Jigglypuff gets mad and confused for Kirby.
Yeah,
That's funny.
It was funny. But yeah, that was definitely a thing. I'm super looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Suicide Squad. It's a shame that we're gonna have to wait till next year, but I'm sure it'll be great in fall 2023 when it eventually shows up after being delayed another 2 times.
Mm-hmm. Triangle Strategy happened 83.
Fair.
Which is that's about what I'd give it.
I think that's where it stands. Yeah, I'm completely fine with that.
I've played 10 chapters of it, and I'm like, yeah, 83 seems about right.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Gran Turismo car game.
Gran Turismo 7 got 87.
Came out on the same day as Triangle Strategy.
Hell yeah, I got
which is
double
nifty.
Yeah. 87. It deserves less than that for how shit the microtransactions are.
Lucky thing that no one was paying attention to those before.
Hell yeah. But that is definitely a thing. Suicide Squad will also be removed from my list eventually. I'm just not removing it yet.
Yeah.
When I need room, I'll remove it. But that's a 0.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Total War Warhammer 3.
Shout outs to Kyle Bossman. Shout outs to Kyle Bossman because I was watching the Easy Allies do their fantasy pick and he put that in his list because he was like, dude, it gets an easy 86 every time. And I looked up Warhammer 1 and 2 both have an 86. I was like, fuck, he's right, and picked it up and it got an 86. And I'm like, there we go. There we go.
Donks.
But yeah, I guess the only other thing to mention is that I also have picked up 2 games. I picked up Soul Hackers 2 from Atlas, and I picked up Gotham Knights because if I'm not having Suicide Squad, I guess I'll take the other one.
It's like last year when you guessed the wrong car game would come out.
And I have to pick the other one. I picked the wrong Forza, damn it. There we go. That was so stupid. Why did I have to go again? Why didn't it just change it to... They knew I meant Horizon. Why did I have to go back? Oh, I hate it.
This is your curse.
Oh well, but no. So overall, yeah, currently Hunter's on 73, Cal's on 65, and I'm on 46, although I've only had 3 games released, whereas Hunter's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Cal's had 5 as well. So,
Hell yeah.
there we
But
go.
Hunter has Elden Ring. So I think he
Yeah.
just wins by default.
He does at this rate, unless God of War and what do you have, Kyle? I guess Forspoken or Xenoblade 3 are masterpieces critically.
I mean, Xenoblade 3 is already a game of the year. Let's be real.
For you, yeah, it's rigged already. Yeah, can't
Yeah.
wait for it to still not show up at the Game Awards.
I know, dude. I can't wait. I love Jeff Keighley. He's my best friend.
I'm gonna this if it doesn't show up this time, that's when we bully him. That's when we start chatting shit. We're like, come on, Jeff.
That's when I just don't show up to watch it this year.
Oh, we can't. It's tradition for me to lose all my sleep.
After the injustice of the soundtrack thing with
my
Guilty Gear last
Blanta.
year, this Xenoblade will be the final straw.
It's true.
This is where I draw the line.
But there you go. Plenty of updates from there. And as always, you can go to bit.ly/HGO League if you want to check it out yourself. That's the shortcut. If you ever want to go check it out, see how everyone's keeping up to date. You can go follow it as well if you want to make an account. Why not?
Looking at the upcoming release calendar is really funny too,
It's
because
so sad, dude.
because like there are 4 games that have dates, and then everything else is just unknown.
It's funny as well because it was 3 until literally an hour ago when my soul hackers went through.
Yeah.
It was like even more depressing.
But even still, it's like 2 releases in June and then 2 releases in August. And then 2 releases in October.
Please, games
And then
industry, wake
Starfield
up.
happens.
Wake up, games industry. I know we had a busy fucking February and March. Look at you fuckers. Look how dumb you were. You could have April and May
You
of
could have
free
spread
real
it out a
estate.
little bit. Yeah,
Did you
April
hear
and
that,
May.
April
Square
and May of
Enix? It was
free-
free real estate.
And you missed it.
Yeah, it just
released
happened
4
after their
games in a
fiscal
month.
year.
Yeah, you released 4 games in a month.
And
Dumbasses.
like one of them was good.
Hell yeah, Strangers Paradise. Let's go, rise up, gamers.
I can't wait to play that game, dude.
I'm here to kill chaos. If that ever
Once
goes on
it's
Game
finally on sale.
If that goes on Game Pass, dude, I'm literally just gonna instantly download it. Can't wait. But yeah, there we go. Alrighty,
Just
let's
dudes being
end-
bros with their shiny rocks.
hell yeah, dude. We got rocks. It's pretty hype. Let's end it with this music thing. Hunter, what do you want to talk about then? What's this topic to
Let me
end the
pull it
show?
up, I guess. I read a tweet earlier this week from Insane in the Rain. He's done composing for games here and there. He also, for a long time, did YouTube covers of like jazzy saxophone stuff.
Mhm.
All around, cool artist.
Mm.
This tweet here was a hypothetical. Let's say there's a game soundtrack that suits a game/player experience super well when you're playing, but outside of the context of the game, it's incredibly boring and not memorable. Would said soundtrack be considered good, in your opinion?
Okay, so this is an interesting one, right? Because I think it depends. I think it's very subjective. I don't think there's a yes or no answer. Because, for example, one soundtrack that instantly strikes to me as great in playing, terrible in listening, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And people are going to shoot me for this one. Because in the game, yeah, it's awesome hearing 6 million ways of the Final Fantasy VII battle theme. But when you're listening to an album and you're like, wow, I can't believe it's the same shit again, it's awful to listen to. It's very... I feel like it's very subjective, is my personal like way of seeing it. Because obviously, I think the best soundtracks are the best of both worlds. I think you can listen to them
without a
outside.
doubt. Like Persona 5, great to listen to in game and out. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You know, I listen to
But,
a
like,
lot of
Pokemon
other
music
soundtracks.
I'd never listen to outside of the game.
But some people do, and that's the weird thing, right? Is like some people do, and it's like, again, it's very subjective, and it's like there are plenty of games where I'm like, yo, this has got great music, but I'd never listen to it outside of it.
As far as it being a soundtrack for a game, my personal opinion is as long as it's working in service of the experience, much like any other element of the game, whatever the experience they're going for, if it works in service to that, then it's doing its job. So I
Mhm.
would consider it good.
Yeah, it's a real one. Well, the tweet itself says outside of the content of the game, it's incredibly boring and not memorable. So, to me, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I don't like listening to it outside, but the music is very memorable from that game because obviously the battle theme from Final Fantasy VII is very
You're
iconic.
gonna remember that theme if you want to or not,
Yeah,
if you're just listening to
exactly.
the soundtrack.
But it's like if I go to like Returnal is a great example of a
Yeah.
soundtrack of it fits the atmosphere and that.
I
and
couldn't
the way
tell
that
you
game.
anything from that game besides Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah, and it's
But I think it's a really good soundtrack for when you're playing it.
same with Horizon Forbidden West is also a great one, dude. I love the sound of Horizon and the
Yeah.
kind of the weird way the orchestra like fuses with these tribal like eerie kind of like
I really like their use of synth in this game.
synth
I
and
don't
stuff
know
like
if it
that.
was
Yeah,
as
and robotic.
present in the
Yeah,
first game because I can only remember Aloy's theme from the first game.
yeah, because that's all
But
anyone remembers is the ooh.
yeah,
like
I feel
that.
like I'll remember at least a couple of other songs from the new one.
But yeah, it's like I wouldn't necessarily call Horizon's soundtrack memorable, but it definitely does fit the atmosphere. But at the same time, again, it depends what the soundtrack is made to be. I feel like a lot of game soundtracks, like for example, I feel like the Persona soundtracks are made to be listened to outside of Persona, and I think that's just
Yes.
what they do. I think ever since, especially Persona fans are gonna kill me for saying this, especially since Persona 3, I said the fucking word. 1 and 2 don't exist. Put me on the fucking shooting line, apparently. But you know, I think ever since Persona 3, when they just started going for kind of styles. They were like, "Oh
Mhm.
shit, people listen to this." Like, we kind of like define. They kind of define their games with their music, and in a way where it's like they have
Mhm.
eras, right? They have eras, and it's
Yeah.
like I
And
feel
how all
like
the soundtracks are radically different from each other in every game.
yeah, and I feel like it's like it feels like it's a constant, right? It'd be
Mhm.
really weird if Persona 6 came out and it sounded exactly like Persona 5 or 4 or
That
3.
would be bizarre.
Like people be like, "Wait, what? This doesn't feel right."
Dude,
And
I
it's
hope
like,
Persona 6 is death metal. I hope
Me
that's the
too,
genre they lean
dude.
into.
That
That'd
my
be
whole my
wacky.
dream
Nice.
scenario is they keep the mask thing, and it's just like metal is what they're leaning into. I want to be anime Slipknot.
I don't, yeah, I don't think it would be metal. What would it be? That's the thing is because it's like I don't think after pop people would have gone, oh, they're gonna do like jazzy kind of music. Well, I don't know what it's more
I
than
don't know, dude.
jazz. Persona 5's soundtrack,
Post-punk
yeah.
darkwave.
Banjos.
I'm telling you, dude, city pop would be a
If
fucking
if
jam. Dude.
purple was the color, that would be something I would like actually. You'd be like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's
Throw in
like
some birthday massacre songs.
there's plenty of things you can do, but it's like I think yeah, a lot of the times soundtracks are like the whole point of a soundtrack is to serve its gameplay. That's the thing. Whether it's
Yeah.
iconic outside of a video game is not really its purpose. That's kind of bonus points. It's as long as it
Yeah.
services the game, that's fine. Because there's so many examples of games that have soundtracks that don't deserve to slap as hard as they do. You know,
Most Sonic games.
most Sonic
Yes.
games is a great example for me is any Treyarch multiplayer theme for a Call of Duty slaps way too hard than it should do. It's a shitty dude bro shooter. Why the fuck have they got the synth going? Again, what is it with synth, dude? Like
Or there's also the thing where sometimes it might not stick out to you after you're done, but once you get back into if you like play the game again, you'll be like, oh yeah, I do remember this. When I replayed Skyward Sword last year, I remembered way more of the music in that game than I thought I did, because there were a couple of songs from that game that I listened to outside of it, like Demise Phase 2 and the credit theme comes at you like the Star Wars music. But but when I got like the Night Academy music and the Skyloft theme, I'm like, oh, I do remember this. This is great.
Mm.
I do think it definitely helps it be more replayable and more memorable outside if it does have kind of like a actual song as like its theme at least, or at least have
Oh, yeah.
actual What I mean by that is like Devil Trigger,
Yeah,
right?
like
Or
yeah,
Last
Devil Trigger.
Surprise. One
Reach
that
for my hand, I'll soar
Edge of
away.
Dawn, yeah. Call of Duty Zombies has been doing
Fun.
that since like 2008, which has always made me laugh. Which is like they have like heavy metal rock songs in the like as Easter egg songs, and they don't just go to like heavy metal bands. They have done it with Avenged Sevenfold before, but they just write their own music. Like Kevin Sherwood, who's the lead, one of the lead sound designers, just really loved making his own songs and was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna make a fucking rock song and stick it in." And people liked it that much that they've made one for every single Zombies map ever since. And it's like it's just like
Nice.
stuff like that where it's like I rarely play Zombies anymore, but I've got like a load of the songs on Spotify that I just listen to all the time because they fucking slap. Or when they did the 1930s map and they did like a fucking 1930s jazz music like theater like cabaret song, I'm like, hell yeah, that shit slaps.
What's it? The creator of Guilty Gear, he also works as kind of like the composer for the games as well. So, and he's been doing that since the start, and I think that's super cool. And you can see a lot of that get carried over into all of the games.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is like the dynamic soundtracks where it's got the parts of the song that I do remember for sure, but it's like other parts of it are nebulous. Like the Hades soundtrack is real fun for me to listen to because there's like 3 minutes of build up and then it gets to the part where it's like hitting me with the heavy metal riffs and stuff. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. DMC5 did dynamic music perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Just how it changes the battle theme from based on your style ranking. And I think that's just such a
My favorite thing is like when I was coming at the special edition, when I got to I played on like the legendary Dark Knight mode, so there's a whole lot more and there's a whole lot more enemies on the screen at once. So I was just hearing the chorus. It was the Virgil's song,
Bury the Light.
Yeah, Bury the Light. I could only think of the chorus for a second, but I was hearing it jump to the chorus instead of all the preamble before that, like right away, because I was just hitting so much stuff that my style rank boosted like straight to triple S from the get-go. I'm like, this is amazing.
I mean, that's the only part of the song you need, but like,
the rest of it's nice to have, though.
The rest of it's fantastic.
It's like a 7-minute song.
Casey didn't need to go that hard, and yet he did.
But he did
I love
anyway,
him for
and
it.
I respect it so much. I hope they bring him back for the next game.
Dude, they should.
Like, Devil May Cry's auditory identity has never been something that was super locked down.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like generic rock music in a lot of cases, with the occasional like standout thing, like the Nello Angelo music with the organ before they get to the generic rock music. But, you know, Casey Edwards did a good job, and they should bring him back.
They should. He should do everything.
I feel like they're going to. I feel like, especially with how...
As hard as Devil Trigger popped off and the subsequent follow-up of people loving Bury the Light, I feel like they will, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because of that, to be honest. I feel like it's just one of those things. It's like how I feel the next Fire Emblem game will also have a fucking Edge of Dawn-like song to it, because I feel like I think people have realized if you put like stupid like memeable songs, but good memeable songs in a video game, that people will draw their eyes to it more. Like I feel like Devil May Cry 5 got way more.
The Devil Trigger pierced the bubble of the.
It did.
It got way more eyes on it because of Devil Trigger, and it's like
it got a soundtrack of the year nomination because of Devil Trigger.
Again, with Guilty Gear Strive, with Disaster of Passion just basically being a Paramore song. Like it got so many more people to be like, okay, I'm interested in this game now. Or at least the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack being the gateway to the product is how I ended up watching Ruby.
Yeah, same.
But it's an interesting question. I was thinking about, because I'm like, it's also very hard for me to think that a game's soundtrack doesn't fit a video game a lot of the time.
It's very... I can't really think of any time where I've played a game that's good, and I've been like, but the music is specifically bad. Like, underwhelming maybe, or maybe I don't remember it, but I don't know if I've ever been like, bad, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Like, even like, I didn't like Final Fantasy 15, but I can remember the like title screen music that was decently composed.
Yeah.
And the one sequence of the game that I actually liked had a really good song, and the rest of the time I could listen to the music from the rest of the series, so it's hardly of consequence. I'm sure that the soundtrack was still good. Like, I doubt that it turned in a poor performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. A little bit of an interesting little topic. Let us know what you guys think. Any interesting soundtracks that you think don't suit anything out, like don't suit the game? Do they suit the game but don't really live up to the hype when they're outside of the game? Let us know. But yeah, I guess with that we're done. I guess that's been our show for this week. Unless you guys can think of anything else, I don't know. Should we just wrap?
No, I got nothing.
We're good.
Yeah,
Cool.
good.
Sounds like a plan then. Then as always, our links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Twitter, keep up to date with everything that we do outside of the show. But hey, if you want to just keep up to date with the show, that's cool too. You can go and follow us on Twitter at HotGamersOnly. Oh god, the video's freezing. Or subscribe to youtube.com/HotGamersOnly.
Oh no.
Or if you don't want to look at our stupid faces, go to the link tree in the description where you can find us on our favourite podcast services, or search for Hot Gamers Only on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast service. It caught back up, and then I had to do the thing really quickly.
I like how you just broke out into like an old timey radio shoutcaster, like the common man does exercise voice that you pose. Like, yeah.
Would you like to follow us on Twitter at Hot Gamers Only, or subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only? And I say, good chap, if you don't want to look at our silly faces, that's cool too. You can go to the link in the description, or search for Hot Gamers Only on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast service provider, or chum. There you go. You happy for that? You good?
Yeah, that was great.
Wonderful.
Well, anyway, that's been our show. Thank you so much for listening / watching this week. We'll be back next week, I'm sure, to talk about Spartacus or whatever the fuck we can think of.
Or maybe a 3x3, who knows?
Oh, good 3x3. Maybe we'll have someone on the show. Who knows? Maybe we'll drag Sam or Jack, or maybe Kane will come on and finally talk about Tunic, Lamau.
No. Is it next week or a special episode?
Is it?
Is it? What?
Why would it be a special episode?
We'll talk after the podcast, because I don't want to...
Oh. Potentially.
That would be an extra.
That'd be a bonus. Yeah, that'd be a bonus.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an actual
episode.
No.
It doesn't actually happen on the day.
No.
Fuck you guys, it's the real episode.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
We'll see you next Monday.
don't even know if we're doing it.
This fucker's trying to ruin our plans here.
Kyle's
anyway.
on one.
Kyle's on one. Ignore him.
Isn't he
Right.
always?
Yeah, anyway, we'll be back same time, same place next week for more, and definitely same time, same place next week. But until then, have an awesome week, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.